today, right here, right now, this is the moment that you will finally say,
I'm growing my accounting practice, and you're going to discover exactly how right here, right now, on the Grow My Accounting Practice podcast.
episode 108. Yeah, welcome everyone. I'm Ron Saharian, co-founder of Profit First Professionals.
And the man with a plan. I am Mike McCallowitz, the author of Profit First.
And Surge.
And Surge. And I got a title. I can tell you that we got assigned a new title. I can't announce it publicly, but I got to tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Fine for the new book.
Right.
And Profit First. How many of you have a copy, my dear friends, my dear listening buddies? Because that's how you drive profitably in your business. You take it first. And there's one other thing you can do to grow your practice, and it's listen to this show. So you've tuned into the right place. It's GMAP, Grow My Accounting Practice. This is a show where we teach you the step-by-step how to grow your accounting or bookkeeping practice, and we give you an amazing tip at the end called the GMAP Now task. You do it, you see results. We give you the psychology, the sale, and we interview an amazing guest every single time. Every single time. Today's Mike Bruno, which is going to be just rock star awesome.
I'm jacked. I'm excited. And as always, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, and of course, growmyaccountingpractice.com. That's where we have our top 10. I encourage you guys to listen.
And it got freshened up. You actually led that project.
Yeah.
And freshened it up.
I got to freshen it up again. We've had some good ones over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. I got a new website too. I got to show it to you. Fat Daddy Fatback is now officially out there. I officially said I couldn't. Ruby Tan just made me do the website, so it's up there.
And I'll tell you what, I've been wearing the Profit First shirt around,
Yeah.
and the other day, like 3-4 people came up to me out of the blue and said, "That's unique. What is that? Explain
Really?
that." Yeah. The little formula, sales minus profit equal expenses. Yeah, they're like, "Can you explain that?"
That's fantastic. I wear that shirt all the time. Just, of course, not today in the studio, I'm not, but I always wear it because they're comfortable. They're really comfortable. So here's the deal, my friends. In today's episode, we're going to talk with a gentleman named Mike Bruno. He's a Profit First professional, but he comes from an unexpected space. He's not your traditional accountant or bookkeeper. He comes from the C, we call it the ABCs, the consulting space, but in the construction industry.
Right.
And how do you translate that to profitability?
Found a hole.
Yeah, found a hole. And when you learn what he did, I think you can use it in your accounting practice too.
Absolutely.
One more thing, Ron. My dear listeners, we are doing monthly webinars for free. Actually, I'm doing one tonight. And the question is, are you going to be there? Well, I can guarantee you're not.
But wasn't the one tonight special invite only?
No, but we do invite our other guests. So that
Okay,
was,
great.
yeah. So, right. It is this one's a particularly special one, but we do invite people who've signed up on our texting. So if you send GMAP, that's GMAP, Grow My Accounting Practice, if you text the word GMAP to 678-506-7543. So that's 678-506-7543. You're going to be listening to some amazing, powerful webinars that we put on here now.
They're awesome. No, you're doing a great job on that.
Thank you. Ron, I want to thank our corporate partners to make the show a reality.
Yeah.
Who are the big three?
The big three. Funbox. Nextiva.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Receipt Bank.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my.
Those companies are extraordinary, great supporters of ours. At the end of the show, we'll give you more details about who they are. His name is Mike Bruno. Mike Bruno is a certified Profit First professional and the founder of Contractor Business Solutions, a back-end office support, bookkeeping, and consulting company that caters to construction and service companies. For over 27 years, the Brunster, as Ron calls him, has been in the construction industry and still runs a successful design, build, remodeling company and a real estate development business and investment firm. And I'll tell you, there's something you don't know about Mike. He is the proverbial squirrel catcher, like a ninja. He sees a squirrel, he jumps on it, grabs it. But even with the negativity people associate with squirrel catching and distraction, Michael's driving a business to the highest level, and we're about to find out how he does it. Mike, welcome to the show, my brother.
Welcome, Mike.
Thank you, fellas. Nice to be here.
So what got you into profit consulting for your clients? I mean, you came from a construction background. It doesn't seem like it's an obvious leap.
Yeah, well, the main reason was my struggle with creating a profitable company. So, as you mentioned, I have been in the construction company or business for 27 years, and it was all about chasing revenue. being in the industry, being part of certain industry groups, everything's about, everybody walking in there with their chest puffed up really, really big. And what's your revenue? What's your volume? What are you doing every year? And a lot of the thought process behind revenue creates problems because, if you're doing 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 6 million in construction, doesn't mean that you're actually making money. So I stumbled across Profit First and devoured the book like most others in a short period of time, couple days. And it completely resonated with me because I realized after all of these years in business, decades of, somewhat being successful, but also chasing cash and having ups and downs and dips and valleys in our cash flow, that I was simply stuffing a business, an empty hole with revenue without an eye on profit.
So this problem is systemic across your industry. Is that what you noticed?
Absolutely, yeah, and some of the groups that I've been part of, you start out by looking at your P&L statement, and the first step of the process is looking at a P&L statement and understanding a P&L statement. So we're looking at revenue. Everybody talks about revenue. Okay, great. You're a $2 million, $3 million company. You're doing something right because you have all that revenue. And then you start going through your cost of goods sold. You start going through your overhead. You start getting down to your net profit. Maybe you're squeezing out some profit. Maybe you're not squeezing out profit. But the emphasis still goes back to the revenue. So because you're doing this much revenue, you must have an office somewhere. And that office must look this nice. And maybe you have a showroom. And because you're doing $3 million a year, you must have 10 or 12 trucks. And how many people do you have in the field? And what's your office staff look like? So there's so much emphasis put towards, a structure. And that structure is almost determining I guess you can say it's misconstrued success by having all of those things. But 9 out of 10 people in the construction business are struggling. They're going paycheck to paycheck or project to project because they're just not keeping an eye on profit from the start.
And I bet you our listeners, Ron, accountants and bookkeepers, I bet you if they look at their client base, it's the same thing Mike is saying. 9 out of 10 not profitable, right?
Right.
So, Mike, I got to ask you this then. If 9 and 10 aren't profitable, now you're the guy doing profit consulting. I mean, are you met with resistance? People say, dude, no one in our industry is profitable. Who are you to tell me what to do? Do you experience that, or is it something quite different?
No, it's quite different. Actually, what we experience are, individual business owners, whether it be women-owned businesses, a guy owns the business, or it's a husband and wife team, and they're actually coming to us with a story of just, despair and regret for the way that they've conducted themselves over a 20, 25, 30-year period. And more times than not, we hear we have a second mortgage on the home, we've bankrupted, our credit cards are maxed, we used up all our 401k, I've been doing this for 30 years, I want to retire someday, and I'm left with nothing right now. Please help me. What am I doing wrong? And when you look at the facade, so you go to their website, beautiful website, everything looks fantastic. Right. Have a really good team. They have great projects. The projects look phenomenal. And you sit there and look at it and say, how could we not be making money? And I say we because I'm still in that industry. So how do we do such great work and we have all of these years of experience, but we don't make money? So it's the opposite. I mean, people at this, everybody we meet almost, I mean, I would say 99.9% of the contractors are always looking for ways to get out of a hole, and they just need help.
So Mike, how did you actually make the transition from construction business owner to profit consulting / bookkeeping type of services?
Well, for me personally, I started out as a carpenter by trade, so I was in the trenches, building and doing all those things. I over the years had different business models. So at one time we had 45 guys on payroll running in different states, building car dealerships and all kinds of different types of businesses and residential, and I've always struggled with the business model because, again, I was kind of like, the bigger the business, the more money I'm going to make. And I reached a point in my career where I spent enough time with some business coaches that steered me in the wrong direction or didn't really give me what I needed, because what I needed was profit advisory. So I just implemented it in my own business, and my entrepreneurial spirit and my willingness to help others and just my desire to lift up the industry as a whole pushed me into profit first professionals, and really just digging in full force, and wanting to help all of these other contractors. So it's an easy transformation once you have a really good system. So you have a cash flow management system, you implement profit first. Now it's just about managing your business and setting the business expectations and developing your lifestyle around those core principles, and forget about revenue, forget about flashy trucks and all these things. So, it was really easy for me. I mean, it was just like the light bulb went off. Here it is. Here's the answer. Let's implement it. We saw immediate profit gains. We saw massive, reductions in our cost and my just frivolous spending of just, buy this, buy that, because I think I'm going to get the next big job, or I think I need it, when I don't need any of that. What I need is a profitable company.
Right. Right. And I remember our buddy Frank, I believe he introduced you to Profit First.
Yep.
Is that correct? Did Frank
Absolutely.
introduce you to it?
My good friend Frank DiBenedetto, he has a technology consulting company, and you guys actually had him on one of the podcasts, I think the Profit First podcast. But him and I have been.
Yeah, that's right. It's funny. I remember talking with Frank when we first started. He's like, I got this great guy. He's a buddy of mine. He would be awesome at this. And I said, okay, well, tell me more. Well, he runs a construction business. I'm like, what?
What?
I said, well, how's this guy going to be
Who's this guy?
Who's this guy? Mike Bruno.
Bruno,
Jay Rocco, And so I'm like, I don't know. I never thought about a business owner that's going to make the transition to profit consulting.
Yeah.
But you know what? It makes all the sense in the world. And as I was speaking with Mike and I was listening to his passion for helping the industry, I was like, holy shit. This is going to be a great profit first professional. And, thank you for doing what you're doing. And I encourage other business owners out there that, if you do have the passion, the drive to want to do it, experience it in your own business first, then give us a call possibly.
Yeah, well, Mike, you have the vertical expertise, right? That's what you have. And I assume when another construction guy or gal approaches you and says, I'm struggling, I assume they're willing to share that despair and regret because you can relate to that. Is that accurate?
Absolutely, 100%, no doubt. Yeah, I can talk
Okay.
lingo. I understand what they've been through because I've been there at one point myself, and I've also experienced a bunch of my colleagues. Same thing. I mean, guys that I'm in groups with, just same exact thing. So I lived it for a long time.
So when it comes to consulting your clients, it sounds like you need to be part psychologist.
Correct. Absolutely.
Now, I want to go into some of these bullet points that we were talking about offline. In a few things you've done to make your business far more efficient, make your clients' businesses far more efficient, and I think some of our listeners can use it for their own accounting or bookkeeping practice, or perhaps use it with their clients. One is you've had a talent to find great VAs. Tell me a little bit about why your VAs are great and how the hell do you do that?
Sure. So real quick, the reason why I started finding VAs is because, in breaking down my business, so implementing profit first in my own business and then drilling down to really what my profit, my owners pay, where I really needed to be, taxes, and then my operating expense, I realized that my business has needs, right? And as an entrepreneur, you think, well, I have marketing. Let me go hire a $40,000 or $60,000 marketing person. And then I have accounting to do. So let me hire a $50,000 bookkeeper. And I have, this to do and that to do. And you start overloading all of these salaries and all of these things into your business that the business can't support. So if you take the visionary out of your mind, so as entrepreneurs, we're visionaries and we have all these great ideas of building this great business. And we hear all the time that we need all these great people surrounding us. And we think the only option is to go hire the best and then just figure out how we're going to pay for it. So, I realized that in going through, in the implementation of Profit First and deciding, I'm going to put my foot down. I'm going to start to be profitable, and I'm going to do the projects and find the clients that are right for us. And I'm only going to do things that are going to be, profit generators, and I'm never going to stuff revenue again. I thought, well, how am I going to do this? Right? So how am I going to be able to get all of these things done that we need to get done at a reduced cost? So fortunately, I do use some VA services that are out there for certain things, but then taking a page out of your own book of how you hire your folks at Profit First headquarters, I wrote a similar ad, and I posted it out to some major job boards and things like that on the internet, and I was overwhelmed with responses. So the way that I wrote the ad was, part-time / VA specialists wanted for certain areas of the company. And I listed out those areas of the companies that or the areas that I needed help with. So I needed specific skill sets from some of these folks. And when I tell you in a day and a half, I had over 375 applications come in. So,
Wow.
as you guys know, I work with our good friend, Dr. Sabrina Starling. So she's my business psychologist. And I called her up and I said, I thought this was going to help me. Now I'm completely overwhelmed. What do I do?
Overwhelmed. Yeah, the tear coming down. I've seen Mike Bruno cry once in his life, and it was this day.
She said, write an email, put in the email that you want them to reply, answer a question, and put a certain thing in the subject line. So like 2-4 exclamation point question mark capital M and C. You're automatically going to reduce the pool to 10%. So I'm like, okay, no problem. I sit there for 4 hours, cut paste, blast out like 300 emails, and sure enough, I get like 80% responses back. So now I'm even more overwhelmed, right? So now I start just drilling through the specific skill sets that these folks had and what I was looking for. And when I interviewed them, I explained to them that, look, I'm looking for somebody to do content creation for me, and this is how I need you to help me. And I interviewed based on that, and I was very successful in hiring several folks. So we have a writer. So somebody just writes for me, does our blogs for us. She helps me with speaking applications and is helping me, get some stuff going for a book and some other things. But I don't ask her to do anything else. Then I have a graphic designer that we give stuff to. And then I have somebody that helps me manage my schedule. And when I add it all together, it only comes out to 50, 60 hours a week total, but I'm getting
for
exactly
all these
what
people.
I want from exactly whom I need to get it from. And if one person goes down, my whole business isn't going down.
See, that's
fascinating.
That's the key with virtual assistants.
Yeah.
One thing we do with our ads, and Mike, you're alluding to it, but we do in the original ads, we write a super long ad. We talk about our culture a lot. Like, we're going to goof around. We also do an inoculation technique. We say, you're going to work your butt off. You're going to be exhausted at times when you go home. And that may dissuade some people from applying, but when that does happen in reality, they're set to expect it. Too many ads are like, oh, this is the perfect place to work for you. You're coming to heaven.
Right. No, you want to be real on the ads, as well as put a little test in there like we do, and our members do. Something that says, hey, make sure you reply with CG1 in the subject line. And for accountants and bookkeepers, that's a beautiful way to check to make sure that people are really crossing their T's and dotting their I's and reading it all.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So I'd say toward near the bottom of our ad, which could be like 10 paragraphs long. It's atypically long. Whereas we put that little hook in saying, if you're really reading this, put in that code in the subject line. And our experience, Mike, is maybe 10% of all respondents actually do that properly.
Right.
And those are the ones who we think are meticulous. And then the next thing we've done to turn up the level 2 is we ask people, if you really are interested, send a video response.
Yeah.
That's how we got Aaron. Hoodie. Actually, everyone here, right?
Yep.
Did Scalise do it? He must have.
No,
Kelsey
he didn't do it, but he was so persistent on the phone and writing and emailing and calling that, he didn't do it because something broke or I don't know what it was.
And now he's a full-time employee.
Now he's a full-time, yeah.
All right, so Mike, great VAs, and there's no question you have them, and I love that you spread them out. The other thing you were talking about is how to create a lifestyle business, and that's really kind of the core of what I want to get to. First of all, would you define what a lifestyle business is and tell us how you've gotten there and or are getting there, and how, of course, our listeners can do the same?
Sure. So, through the help of others, so Sabrina for one, I've put a lot of emphasis towards getting out of the way of the business, and my old way of thinking of faster, bigger, better, equals better, and it doesn't. So for me, my lifestyle business, or my goals for a lifestyle business, or a business that's going to run to a certain degree on its own. It's going to have the right people in the right places, both from internal employees and then utilizing VAs. I want to be able to take X amount of vacation time. I want to be able to show up to all my children's sporting events and school and things like that I want to do. And, I want to be present for my family. And for many years, I'll admit that I wasn't. I was just chasing all of this revenue and jamming it down this monster's throat, and it just wasn't fast enough. More revenue, jam more, jam more, jam more. And, the 7-day work weeks just get old. So, the implementation of Profit First and the cash flow management system turns it all upside down. So now you really start to think about, this is what I have to work with. And now that I have this to work with, how am I going to make it work? And what is my new definition of success? Because forget about, I'd rather have a $300,000 company where I'm making $100,000 and I'm working 3 days a week, as opposed to a $30 million company where I'm working 7 days a week and I have $10 million in debt. And I miss my family and everything else that happens. So, I think it's important for entrepreneurs to really think about that and to start to take little chips. It's not going to happen overnight. You need to document what that lifestyle goal really means. And then in doing that, right? So you have your whole cash flow management system and your profit first assessment of what that ideal company looks like. That business is still going to have expectations. How do you get everything done that business needs to get done in that bucket of money that's now your operating expense? And how are you going to do it as efficiently as possible, as profitably as possible, while creating the same customer experience or better, and then giving you the lifestyle that you want?
And was there a catalyst, or did something happen that you said enough's enough?
Believe it or not, for years I knew that I had to make some changes, and I hired just typical business coaches, and it was like you're so overwhelmed as an entrepreneur, and then you get that glimmer of hope, right? And you're like, okay, well, I hired this coach, they're going to help me do everything I need to do. So you start off the phone call. So, hi, Mike, how are you feeling today? Well, that's not what a business owner really needs. To a certain degree, maybe you need some of that outside help, but you really need to drill down to what you're doing, right? Like, stop the insanity. You're in business to have a lifestyle. If you want to be in business to kill yourself, go work somewhere else, right? But it doesn't make sense to have a business that's dragging you down. And after years and years of, paying a little bit of money here, a little money there, join this group, join that group, and just hearing the same thing over and over and over again, surrounded by the same exact people that still have the same problems after 20 years, I was like, this is crazy, right? I have to do something different. And that's why, when Frank told me about Profit First, how he implemented it in the companies that he has, it solved a big partnership problem for him. I looked at it and I was like, I can't believe how simplistic this is, and everybody misses it. So I'm going to do it. And I just decided I'm going to do it. I'm going to be a PFP. I want to be the best one that I can be. I want anything that you guys are throwing at me. Through Donna Lyons, Prevendus Group recommended Sabrina. I jumped on with her, and it's a transformation over the course of 16 months that I've had. It's unbelievable, just by being surrounded by the right people with the right mission and the right concept.
And that is so awesome, and well done. I'm so happy for you. And there's probably a lot of our listeners here that have owned accounting and bookkeeping firms for many years that are in a similar position to you. And it's amazing how in 16, 18 months, not only the mindset has shifted, but also, the business. So it can be done. but it's taking that first step to do it. So what's next for you? I mean, when you're creating, your company here, I mean, you're using virtual assistants, which is awesome. I love how you have different ones segmented out. Are there other aspects of your business that you're now focusing on improving to help out?
Yeah, my primary goal, the way that I look at it, I've been in business for 27 years. I'm going to be 45 years old this year. I'm basically halfway through my career, and it's about defining the lifestyle that I want and what I want to do. And I have such a passion for entrepreneurialism and just business in general and helping other business owners that I'm transitioning more and more and more of my focus. I'm probably at about 75% now in the consulting side of the business. And I look forward to some speaking events that I have coming up, speaking engagements at some national trade shows. I've really have a lot of really good, powerful influencers through the help of Mike and going through the surge process. It's been absolutely, fantastic. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, but it's not work when you're passionate about it and it comes easy. So, it's not that I'm working 40 hours a week. I am probably working 50, 60 hours a week, but I would say 30 of those hours I don't really consider work. I consider it bettering myself, additional learning, helping others, doing something that's going to make a real difference in people's lives. And that's where I'm going. I mean, I'm super excited about it. I'm excited to be part of, what you guys have going on and all the stuff that's going on in the construction industry. And, I would just want to keep blasting it out in that whole sector.
One of the things you talked about, Mike, was profit, right? So you're doing profit first, but it sounds like you're using profit first in a way to kind of reverse engineer your business. Because earlier you're saying, I spent on everything. So I want to understand how profit first has served your business, and then how you're using it to serve your clients. So how's it worked in your business, and what kind of realizations has it brought about to running an effective consulting practice?
Well, with the consulting practice, I mean, for sure, we look at our, we're not keeping, I mean, obviously we're looking at the business that we're bringing in. But I have an expectation of the profitability level of what we're doing, what our expenses should be as a ratio to the profit, the taxes, and what I need to take as an owner's salary. And the revenue kind of comes as the last piece. We're really looking at our clients a lot closer. So, there's a lot of different verticals in the construction market. We do work with different construction company models. So we do have plumbers, electricians, design builders, developers, kitchen and bath places. So we do work with a lot of different people. But I'm not thinking about let's sign up everybody that we can possibly sign up and go down the same, get into the same mindset. So, we're slowly growing the consulting practice, but we're really keeping an eye on getting what we deserve to get and make sure that it's profitable.
And that, I think what you just shared is a difficult choice to make. Don't sign everybody up to make sure that they're profitable in advance. Because, I want more clients, and that mentality has been pumped into us so much. Grow at all costs. When you decline an opportunity, do you struggle with that still, or maybe not?
It's hard to a certain degree, but I know the path that it will lead to if I do that, because I've been there. And I think once you have a realization and you can really think about everything that you do or don't do has a reaction. So if you think, well, I can take this next bookkeeping client or this accounting client or this consulting client, and because I need the revenue for the next 30 days, what is that doing to 30 days of effectively managing the current clients that you have and keeping up that client experience, and or going out and finding those right clients? So
don't go for the cash grab.
No, I mean, I'm completely,
that's such a good perspective. Right. It's a survival. I call it the survival trap, because Michael, do you go by Michael ever, by the way?
My mom and my wife.
Rarely.
Sometimes.
Yeah, okay. If you're in trouble, yeah. I'm sorry I even said that. My wife does that when she's upset with me. She calls me Michael.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael John actually, and I'm like, oh crap.
Oh, my middle name's John too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, all right.
I knew
Cool.
I liked
Yeah,
you.
right. Yeah.
Ron John.
Buddies.
So I like you even more now. So, Mike, do you find this with this? If you do this 30-day survival, what's the consequences? You started talking about how it affects clients, your existing clients.
Yeah, because when you're dedicating more resources to a bad client, it's taking away from the good clients, and we all know that the bad clients take 80% of our time, right? I mean, it's inevitable. They're the ones that are emailing us 95 times a day. They're calling us nonstop. They're stopping at the office. Everything's a problem. They need more of your time and resources. And it typically goes like that, or there's a problem and you have to do some rework, or you have to do this and you have to do that. I've never in my my line of businesses had a bad client that didn't take more of my time. And that's the only thing that I have to control my time. I mean, I can't replace it. I can't add more of it. So the time that I have to make, the best use of it to reach my goals.
For the listeners that are in accounting practices, bookkeeping practices, and are looking to move to consulting, I mean, you came from, and this is why it seems like such an unbelievable leap. You were a carpenter. You were the guy putting up sheetrock, slapping mud on it. That's the only construction term I know that's kind of cool. Slapping mud on it. But now you've moved to a consultant. That seems like a big leap. What suggestions or advice can you give to folks listening in right now? How do you start stepping into becoming consultative and building 75% of your time is now consultation. How do you step into that and get there where you are?
I think you have to understand what value you provide. So, if you're in a specific industry and you're just getting into consulting, you have all of that experience, and that story and that experience will allow you to be able to consult with people that are going through the same problems that you have solved. That's number one. Number two, the interesting thing, I had lunch with an accountant yesterday, just to form some relationships with some accounting firms, and just, kind of build out our network. And one of the interesting things that he said is that it's not about filing taxes for him. What it's about is providing the advisory services and the help and building the relationships with his clients that not only makes him feel really good, but helps his clients get to another level of success. And we all know, probably some of us have had those accountants where, throughout the whole year, you don't even talk to them. At the end of the year, all of a sudden you have to write a check to the IRS, and then you don't talk to the person for another year. So the whole, that stigma of the accountant and the taxes is kind of a bad thing. I wished that my accountants over the span of 27 years actually called me and said, "Hey, Mike, how's everything going with business? How's your cash flow? Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about, maybe what we can do for some tax planning. Or let's talk about, how your revenue is increasing, but your expense ratio is exponentially going, haywire. And then we're ending up owing all these taxes. And, every year you're, now having to go into all your savings accounts to get the money to pay for the taxes. Let's talk about how to do that better." Right? I mean, that's so powerful. Yet a lot of people are just about pushing buttons. So if you get out of the mindset of pushing buttons, I don't care if you run a bakery and it's a successful bakery, you can be a consultant to bakeries if you know how to do it, because there's other guys that are still working in the business every day, baking the bread, and they have no idea why they're losing all their money.
And I'd argue you could be a good consultant even if you don't know how to bake. You can still be a consultant to bakeries if you start devoting your time to learning how to make bakeries profitable.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Or businesses in general profitable.
Sure.
What do you mean?
Businesses in general profitable.
I understand, but
Yeah.
I'm saying you could pick a niche then.
Absolutely.
And I could say, well,
Right.
now that I'm working with 10 bakeries, I know that if you buy this mixing machine or whatever, you're going to
Right.
that type of
Right.
stuff.
You can develop it.
Yeah.
In a niche.
But if you have a background in it, Mike, what I'm hearing from you is that's an additional advantage because you already know how to speak the language. You know what the challenges are inherently.
Exactly.
What'd your wife say when you said you were going to start becoming a profit first professional?
I know what she said, Michael.
She knows that I was struggling for, a good matter of years, just trying to figure out what to do. And I felt like something was missing. I kind of felt like I was waking up every day and dealing with the same thing over and over and over again in the construction. So she's very supportive of me doing all of these things. And, she's happy that I'm happy. So she's excited for me that I'm excited. And, the days of me coming home and complaining to her, like, oh, we didn't make money on this job, and we didn't get paid over here, and we didn't do this, and we didn't do that. And, all these different things are gone. I mean, now I come home and we have a relationship. It's about the presence and the lifestyle. So I have a good relationship with my kids, and like I said, I go to sporting and I do all these different things, and it's about not being a zombie, and tied to
Right.
profit loss of a business. So she's all about it. She wants me to be happy and do what I want to do, and when she sees me happy, she's happy.
Nice.
We should dedicate a show, I think, to the wingmen,
Right.
in businesses. The men and women who back the entrepreneur.
Right.
And because if you don't have that support behind you, it is that much more difficult.
Yeah, I know. I'm lucky I had that support.
Yeah. Actually, when we started Profit First Professionals, Krista, my wife, and I went over to Ron's house. Ron put out a killer spread, by the way. Krista still talks about that. Like, he had the wine out, he had bruschetta, and we're sitting in the back deck.
What was he wooing?
But Mary was there, and what was that, Mike?
What was he wooing you?
No,
he was wooing
I was
me.
trying to woo Ron, but at the same time, he was wooing my wife. It was like this.
I don't want to be an entrepreneur.
But Mary, Ron's wife, was there and really took an interest in making sure this was the right move for Ron, emotionally, for his personal objectives, and of course fiscally to their family. And she throughout, Mary, she doesn't really know, I don't think, what's going on here on a day-to-day basis, but she cares about Ron's
Being happy.
mental health,
Yeah, like
and
Mike
the business
said.
health,
Right.
And the support's amazing.
Oh, she does care about the physical health.
Oh,
of
I know
the-
she does.
of the
She
business.
ran like the analysis on this business.
Yeah, she's always going to Mike. Mike, don't spend.
I know. She yells at me for spending. It's my other wife now. I
You got three wives.
Three wives. I
You
know.
got three.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
man.
Krista,
And it's
Mary,
not even
and
Utah.
Ron. So, Mike, I think the big aha I got from you was this, and I dare say the biggest aha I've heard on GMAP of all time is how to move to consulting. You said it's real simple. Start being proactive. Start reaching out to your clients proactively and just ask them questions. It naturally starts putting you in that position. Is that how you got started, Mike? Did you start calling your existing clients once you committed to Profit First? Did you start calling them saying, hey, I have some questions for you? Or how did you get your existing clients on board to your consulting work?
Well, what we did was we did reach out to a lot of influencers, so people that I've had relationships with for years in the industry. We reached out to suppliers, we reached out to subcontractors, and we asked questions. So, how's everything going with business? Are you making the money you're supposed to be making? Or, hey, do you know any contractors that are struggling? Maybe it'd be a good idea for them to talk to us. We can talk through things, and it's just about asking all those questions. Are you making money? Are you profitable? What does that mean to you? Are you actually taking owner's salary, or is your profit, or is your salary also what's at the bottom of the P&L statement that you don't understand? Is that where you're taking your money from?
Right. And it's also a question I ask all the time too. Are you making enough money? And a lot of business owners, say, yeah. A lot say, no, I wish I was making more. Most want. And then the ones that do say yes, well, are you taking advantage of everything out there? Are you putting away 10% of savings? Are you maxing out a 529 for your kids? Are you investing alternative retirement strategy, stocks, bonds? Are you maxing out everything possible? If you're not doing all of that, then, in my opinion, you're not making enough.
Yep.
Well, on that note, we got to wrap things up.
Wow.
The time is flying. So, Mike, where can people learn more about you and what you're doing?
It is www.contractorbusiness-solutions.com, or anybody could actually email me. I got a shorter email, so I didn't have to spell it all out. Mike@mjbruno.com.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Mike@mjbruno.com. So we'll have that in the show notes, contractorbusiness-solutions.com. Check it out. There might be a partner opportunity here. If you're an accountant or bookkeeper, Mike is doing direct consulting to this construction industry, maybe there's a compliment to your business. So reach out to Mike. Also, and Ron, this is the biggest one. Profit Con.
Profit
is
Con.
right around the corner. September 27th, 28th, 29th, and then the big party at your house. It's happening, and you're going to see the
Well, the party
unveiling.
isn't going to be like an Enron party, all right?
But you're going to see the big reveal of Mike Bruno's banner. So, and
I've seen it.
He was so kind. Yeah, we have it in the house already. But he was so kind just to share what kind of growth he's experienced and how he's done it.
And why were you putting mustaches on it?
Oh yeah, I know. I'm embarrassed about that. I'm sorry, Mike. I just do that. Whenever I get jealous of another Mike, I draw mustaches.
Right,
on it.
and then you draw other things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it looks horrible, but you'll be embarrassed for sure. All right, Mike. Thanks again for coming on the show
Yeah,
today.
thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. We got a lot of stuff we still have to do together. So we are going to summarize what we learned. We are going to do an Obi-Ron psychologist sale, and we're going to do a GMAP Now task. But first, we want to thank our corporate partners. So thanks to Fundbox. You know, they're a cash flow accelerator. If your clients need to get those invoices paid today but can't do it, just call Fundbox. They'll get the money to you. Nextiva, voice over IP phone system, the best in the West and the East, and actually globally. And of course, Receipt Bank. That's the ultimate accelerator in business efficiency. Why? Because every single receipt that you pile up there, you just scan to your phone, syncs to your QBO, your QDBD, your Xero, your FreshBooks, Sage, whatever you got. It'll sync it up with it. No more shoe boxes, my friends.
No more.
Use Receipt Bank. All right, Ron. Let's start off with what we learned today. So, what do you got for me?
Yeah, what I learned, really, what I'm going to think about utilizing is the fact that, you know, when Mike was looking for specific knowledge in specific areas, he didn't go out and hire one person. He hired a bunch of different people with different expertise to fill the hole, to make a whole person doing things. So it was interesting how he's utilizing virtual assistants, VAs out there for specific tasks, which are a lot of different tasks, and he has 3 or 4 different virtual assistants, but they're all part-time, and it's all taking, you know, about the same revenue as one single full-time person.
Yeah, love it. Mine, hands down, I already said it, but I got to repeat this thing. How do you start becoming consultative? Mike gave us the ultimate formula. Don't be reactive, be proactive. And all you have to do is pick up the phone and call a client and say, hey,
How you doing?
How you doing? And let's start looking down the pike. That's how you start. And then it'll naturally come about. So that's it. All right, Ron. Hold on. Do we do the Obi-Ron first, right? Oops. Let's get that lightsaber of yours. There it is.
Yeah, here we go.
Now, just for our listeners, if you haven't heard the Obi-Ron psychology sale, this is where Ron gives you the most powerful ways to sell. And it's all based on behavioral psychology.
It's not only selling, but it's covering your back, making sure you're understanding the psychology of purchasing behaviors and your buyers. So one of the things that I want to talk today about, it's called low start pricing. Okay, this is basically when we're charging for a service that will require the customer payments over a period of time, but we start at a low price for a limited initial period. Okay, we do that here, but primarily you'll see this a lot on cable ad. When you want to get a cable subscription, they'll bundle it $99 for the first 3 months. Well, they're starting low, because they want to get you in the door there. And the logic of this is that a low starting price is typically used for a couple of purposes. One, marketing method. It's a great way to induce people to buy.
Sure.
Even if the overall cost will be higher than a non-low start, it can be attractive to many people, and many people are making their business decisions based on that. The second purpose is that maybe there's an assumption that customers are unable to pay at a higher rate at this particular moment, but they'll be able to pay it in the future. This is particularly valid when customers, may have greater income in the future. So here's what you can do if you're going to do a low start pricing. Protect yourself. Okay, protect yourself. There's going to be temptation for some customers to take advantage of the low starting price and then switch to another provider or a cheaper provider at the end of that. So one of the things we want to do to dissuade this is include a commitment for a longer term in the contract. Okay, have it be a year contract, but the first couple of months may be at a reduced price. Include a clawback or some other penalty for pulling out early. Okay, another one, make it difficult, such as provide great support, provide information, provide such services that they're going to appreciate when they experience that slice increase in price. So again, if you're going to start with low pricing, make sure to protect yourself and watch out.
Boom and Luma Doom.
Yeah,
Love
pretty
it.
easy.
Oh my.
Oh, George Takei like that. Here's the dealio. I got one more thing for you, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's
it. You didn't expect that, did you?
No, I did. I'm like, what's he got? What's he got?
Yeah, this is the GMAP Now task time. You know, I get pumped up about it every single time because the impact it will have on you. We're 108 episodes into GMAP.
Wow.
You know, what we do on average 50 minutes per episode, 5,400 minutes of GMAP Now tasks.
Wow.
Or I mean of GMAP, but now in each one
Content.
of content.
Great content.
Great
To-dos. To-dos.
So start binging. Start binging. Here's the one for today. It's a 3-step process. First of all, pick your favorite business book. Now, profit first. I'm not complaining if you choose that, but whatever book you want to choose, whatever your favorite is, what's resonated with you the most, pick it up. Step 2, call your existing clients and say, I want to share something with you. Step 3, mail them the book, and then now you've positioned yourself to have a conversation around the book, and you can start becoming consultative around that. It's that simple.
Wow. I mean, yeah, just tying that back into Mike Bruno, talk about proactive. Imagine mailing your business customers a great book,
Yeah.
Profit First, search, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a priming effect as well, too.
Yeah.
They're going to say, what is this?
Yeah. I think this may serve you. I mean, don't you want your own vendors doing it to you? And actually,
I like books when people mail them.
I love it. I worked with Ingram Micro a long time ago, their computer supplies.
Mm-hmm.
They sent me a small book on business finance. It was awesome. It's just how to read a profit and loss statement and so forth. I fell in love with the company, just on that gesture alone.
Right.
So that's how you start your consulting practice. Pick your favorite book. Hey, if it isn't Profit First, that's cool. But pick whatever resonates with you and you want to talk about.
The Killing of Pablo Escobar?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that one.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that one. All right, Ron, we got to get out of here, my brother.
Awesome, Mike. Well, what a great episode. And thank you, Mike Bruno. We hope everybody out there really enjoyed the show today. You can review us on Stitcher, iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn Radio. Of course, we would love to get your 5-star ratings.
And we want you to do one more thing. Maybe it's time you check out ProfitFirstProfessionals.com.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we want to see a Profit Con.
Right.
Why not experience our family? Mike Bruno's going to be there. Ingrid Helke, who are next week, she'll be
Oh,
there.
Ingrid.
We have 100 plus, 125, 150 members who are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you come and join the fun? Go to ProfitCon.us and you can get your ticket there. Or you can email Christina at Profit First Professionals, and we'll try to hook you up with one of our discount codes. Okay? But do it now. It's in September. It's right around the corner. And it's going to be an amazing event. How to become consultative to your clients. Oh, and one more thing. Why don't you become a Profit First Professional? That's real simple. Go to ProfitFirstProfessionals.com. Click on the Become button. Fill out the form. You'll talk with Obi-Ron, Mike Scalise.
Haludge is up now.
Haludge is up. So you
Yeah.
might talk with Mike Scalise or Deborah. We'll tell you all about Profit First. Make sure it's a fit. You know, we decline people because they're not ready. Other ones we say, we're ready, and they say, I'm ready, and that's when we go. And maybe that's the opportunity in front of us today. So ProfitFirstProfessionals.com. Go there now. Click on Become. Fill out the form, and let's get this rolling. See you guys later.
See ya.